Vintage AM shortwave portable transistor radios. Made in Iraq. I've actually known about these for quite some time, and I've been trying to get my hands on some of them because I really wanted to look at how they're built and play with them and test them out and see how they work. And they just seem rare here in the West. I finally found someone, a subscriber, who hooked me up. His name is Ali. He lives in Iraq, and he acquired these for me and sent them DHL. It took 2 days for them to get here. I can't even send something from here to Mississippi and have it get there in 2 days, but somehow these managed to get here in 2 days. The brand here is Harp, as in the musical instrument harp. And I kind of like the little logo there with the little antenna. And these were produced by the Electronic Industries Company. I guess that's what EIC means. Again, the Arabic word for harp. Again, this is the same harp. And there's a picture of the harp on this one. And it says, the translation here is, the harp produced by the Electronic Industries Company. And I cannot wait to get these open and see. He told me that these were sort of a cooperation between EIC and Panasonic out of Japan. So we might be looking at just like a Panasonic type circuit. I don't know. So the first thing we're going to do is open these, because I love radios that are made in different places. Soviet radios, German radios, and now we have Iraqi radios. Now, he said that there were no more AM stations on the air in Iraq, that he could pick up stations out of Kuwait, which Kuwait is about 400 to 500 miles from Iraq. So that's a pretty good haul even for a 50 kilowatt station during the day. At night, probably no problem. But these are definitely going to have a date in the desert. A desert field trip date performance test. Iraq is not a huge country. It's about the size of like Colorado or part of Texas. So, but even that, it's hard for a 50 kilowatt station to cover that much. So I don't know about the sensitivity or performance. Of course, the Soviet radios, because of the size of Russia, the Soviet radios all performed excellent. They all had really good sensitivity because of the rural nature size of but we don't know about these. Let's get them open. All three of them actually have the back and the battery cover. Corrosion doesn't look too bad. Maybe they don't have Duracells in Iraq. I like the little ball at the tip of the antenna. The antennas are intact. Of course, that's for the shortwave. This is kind of classy so far. And this is what I'm most interested in here. We're going to take a good long look at these and see how they were built. Initially, my first initial impression, based on just visual and odor, they have that kind of vintage solid state transistor radio odor, is Hong Kong. That's my initial snap response here, just looking at these. There are different generations, but let's take a look here. So they look sort of just like a standard, 6 transistor set. Have our converter transistor. The red one would be our AM oscillator coil. This one would be the shortwave oscillator coil. Then we got our first IF, second IF and third IF detector transformer. We have what looks like a silicon diode detector. Looks like there's a missing transistor here, no? Shouldn't there be a transistor? It looks like there was a transistor there at one time. This would be your first IF, second IF, and then your audio amp and your audio output. This is using 2 germaniums. This one over here, a converter transistor. Do we have a number on that? Shortwave oscillator, AM oscillator, first IF, second IF detector. Here we have a blue diode. (108, 108). 173. Are these your floor sweeping transistors? And then over here, what is this? An LM386. TDA. (2822M). Hey, here it is. Here's the data sheet on it. Wow, is this a stereo? This thing will do stereo. Down to 1.8 volt. Looks like it's 1 watt. Wow, it looks like it is a 2-channel amp. So they probably have it bridged in here. The bird agrees. So it looks like it'll do 1.4 watts. Well, that should be plenty loud. I don't know if that speaker will handle that. Probably depends on the input voltage. So capacitors, let's see who we got here for capacitors. ST. I think we'll check the alignment on these too. Look at how that yellow one looks like it's screwed all the way in. You know, Panasonic would always mark them with a little marker. What is this coil here for? That must be an antenna. That must be an antenna tuning coil for shortwave. Okay, so this must be a later generation. This one here. Try and get a number on those. Foster speaker. That's the Matsushita logo right there, right? 2SB 332. No, 2SB 324. Sorry, this is really difficult to hold this still while zoomed in this tight. Take on capacitors, those are sort of standard. Now, when something says made in a specific country, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to make here, right? The IF transformers, the capacitors, the resistors, the tuning capacitors, all these parts have to be made somewhere, and they all look Japanese. So maybe assembled in Iraq. I don't know. Was the case made in Iraq? That's obviously a Japanese speaker. This one says EIC. I wonder if they made that. I want to pull this board out real quick and look and see if that transistor might have been replaced and put on the bottom of the board. So I don't see it there. Look at this. This thing's had a bunch of work done to it. I guess they actually fix things like this in Iraq rather than just throw them in the trash. We have a couple bodged on replacement transistors. 2SC 828. It looks like a Matsushita part. And 2SC 828. Whenever you see a little Japanese transistor like this, and the number starts in A, B, C, or D, you always put 2S in front of it. Bet you just learned something. So we've had a bunch of work done right here. I'll be curious when I power these up to see if they work, and we'll check the alignment on them if they do. They're interesting. They have sort of a Hong Kong flavor mixed with Japanese, but they're different than that. The gray one here looks totally unmolested. Nothing's been done here, but work has been done to this one. Yeah, I like that repair, man. Instead of dealing with the dial cord, instead of trying to deal with that dial cord, just cut the bad part off the top and just figure out where it connects on the bottom and solder it on the bottom out of the way. Looks like maybe the hatred towards restringing dial cords is a worldwide, international thing. Here's a little small one, and this looks like a single chip deal. TA7641 by Toshiba from 1988. Does that make this vintage? Let's see, let's analyze the rest of it. This is just a single chip deal. They're Japanese IF transformers. Sumida. The capacitors in this are... Sorry this is such a shaky video. I'm trying, but What brand are those? Wissam capacitors? Somebody's pocket crust. I like them. They're different, and that's exactly what I like. One big difference between these and the Hong Kong radios of this era is these are conservative and realistic. These, they didn't put 25 extra transistors in here to get the transistor count up to get someone to buy it. Ooh, my radio has 10 transistors. Oh, my radio only has 6 transistors. Mine's inferior to yours. That was some marketing gimmick we had going on here where they would use them as diodes and detectors and all kinds of stuff just to get the count up. This is just totally bare bones realistic here. Converter, IF1, IF2, audio amp IC. This is the same thing. Converter, IF1, IF2, which is underneath, and then 4 transistors for the audio output. No BS, just straight up. It is what it is to make it work, and we're not adding anything else. Do we want to look at this EIC speaker? Maybe. You know what? In fact, I don't, because the plastic is, the threads are coming out with the screws. So I'm going to have to put something in these two to get them to bite again. Okay, next step is let's power them up and see if they work. If they were Hong Kong radios, they wouldn't, because all the capacitors would be all dried out. These radios are 4.5 volts, which is kind of interesting because that's what Sony used at the time, were 3 All the Sony radios were 4.5 volts. Anyway, I've only got 3.3 here with the lithium iron phosphate, so we'll see if they work. I don't know. We're going to find out right now.
It's a calling, your program. And without the mental ability, you were talking about, you know, it was getting difficult to think the pain was so bad. Without the ability to move and feel comfortable. Por la noche en el Oasis Pool. En esta casa,
Wow, it just turns on and works.
They were holding their restrictions. From what they said, it's for protection. Well, I'm a careful driver, but I don't have the money to replace that right now, and I was just wondering if it's okay to continue to drive it. I believe it is.
Selectivity seems a bit lackluster. You can hear two stations there at the same time.
Look at it. My gut feel is that it's there to keep rocks from flying up under the car and hitting the oil pan. This is not uncommon with a car these days. It's just a little bit of added protection. As long as
I started compressing. Good stuff. Start believing in them. When there are rumors out there, when there's reporting going on of how they're trying to figure out a way to hire a new offensive coordinator, but not call him an offensive coordinator because they don't necessarily, you know, trust Nathaniel Hackett the way that Aaron Rodgers does. When you have Aaron Rodgers at the end of the season going, hey, if it doesn't have anything to do with winning, we need to get rid of it. You need to think about if you're doing it. And then
This is minus, which is here. And this is, we're just doing this all live, just one clip. This is plus.
Be quiet for a change in this busy world.
We are in the process, though, as you pointed out.
Well, I guess this one works.
Stairs. It is the namesake of the parish that was essentially sacrificed for this particular place. What does it mean to see that chapel?
This one has a frozen speaker. Is this the EIC speaker? It is. Wow, the Iraqi speaker is frozen and rubbing.
We started the St. Callistus Chapel in the roller rink, and not 2 minutes.
and they make it in a hybrid deal with 3 other RAV4 hybrid is wonderful too. Either one of those would do you well.
There's a lot to learn about buying or leasing your next truck or car. Jerry Rowe.
Te pedí que me sanara mi ceguera espiritual, yo andaba en las tinieblas.
Okay, that one works. But the little tiny one. Can we do this in all one shot here? This one is 3 volts, so I'll be applying the right type of voltage to this one. So this was positive, so this goes here. This is negative, so this goes here.
Then they were getting their doors blown off at home in the wild card round.
Yeah,
Well,
I would say in the regular season they are. You know, I don't trust them in the
You're a reason to trust them once we get to the postseason.
at all. I don't trust them. But look, if you're gonna, I mean,
sloppy.
begins at 6 p.m. Eastern on the offer as we wrap up the program. Very special offer. Thank you for your ministry. That counts, sir.
That noise is the camera.
Here's the favorite part.
Ethanol is for veterans owned company. Find everything at carpro.com today.
Hemos tenido muchas personas. Cirrhosis, depression, fatigue, it's all in this very informative book that's yours.
It is.
It may sound too good to be true for some people, Sherry. What do you think?
Thing is, Jackie.
I want to that.
That squealing makes me think that there might be a weak capacitor that this.
I want to give you one I owe you first, so then I can give them back, or give you whatever you want back.
Silent crime. Your business and file criminal.
Insurance benefits.
Well, we're at 100% here. All of them work without anything. They all come working. So that's pretty good, because the Soviet stuff almost always needs to be repaired. The Hong Kong stuff almost always needs to be repaired. The Japanese stuff usually needs capacitors, and the American stuff can be a little bit better, but this is 100%. Now, I know these are later. I saw a date code on this chip of 1990. So these are all, you know, a lot newer, 20 years newer than most of the stuff we work on. So that might be one reason the capacitors aren't all dried out yet. Well, let me get the generator. Let's screw with the alignment on this, because this one, the sensitivity is real wide.
Against Denver, they felt like, nah, we're tougher than those dudes. Right? Yeah, they got the best player in the world, but they're not tougher than we are. And then Lucas said, watch this. All finals games can be heard here on ESPN Radio. The women's basketball, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had their share of battles in college.
I'm going to assume this is 455. I don't know.
You want a free dog or a free? Here's doctors. California's going to...
Need to find a quiet spot here and try and... I don't hear nothing. Yeah, I don't hear nothing here. On 455. 1,000, and I got this cranked up all the way, right? What if we could do this? Oh, we didn't want to go to 555. I don't know. I'll play with it for a minute. Well, if I feed it into there, I can barely hear it, but let me just see. I can put these back, you know.
Very direct, accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. Legislature. Sometimes you have the convenience of rank. 4 wins, and then these 3 or 4 players, their path to making a team is going to be difficult, hard.
I almost get the feeling it was never aligned.
Longer have to wait a year and a half like we did in the Obamacare case. We had to wait a year and a half for the Supreme Court.
That stands out for you.
Les hemos platicado.
Come visit us in person to see how inexpensive it is to drive a new Nissan at Nissan of San Juan Capistrano, located off the 5 Freeway in Camino Capistrano.
Nissan up.
Damn, how wide is KNX?
Los Angeles, their unique combination of neighborhood offices.
Sensitivity is not very good. I thought it really woke up. I need to get the right batteries in it. But I thought it really woke up when I aligned the IF.
Workshops and seminars with locations all over LA. You can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live.
Doesn't even get LA oldies.
Everything that you need, and there's actually, besides my 3, this one.
KNX is like 200 kilohertz wide.
Carla, next week she'll have the all-new Camry. And they're beginning Toyota's going
Let's look at the performance on this one.
So I'm in the market for a new car. I thought I need
reflect and curity with
carry in it may not fit. So my question is, if I think I'm going to go with a VW convertible, should I pay way more attention to the mileage over the years? And if the answer is forget it, then I have another question.
She had an 18-year-old daughter who was a gym.
A través de la 1330 de Los Ángeles. Estos son en Huntington Park.
Yeah, the performance is horrible on this one too. There is no selectivity. It's like a crystal radio. Okay, this is the other one. I have not touched anything here. $495. Seems to be tuned around $495. I don't know. I think I need to do some research. I thought these were standard IF cans that were $455. But I don't want to touch. I will see if I can find a service manual, or if Ollie can find a service manual for me. Because I'd like to verify the IF frequency. A lot of times they say the IF frequency on the back, but the sticker is rubbed off. These IF transformers say EIC on the side of them too. I don't know if people see that. EIC 137, EIC 136. So it's like by the time they got to this generation, those are not made in those are not made in Iraq. Those are Japanese IF transformers. This is Japanese stuff with their logo printed on it. Let's try and do a little bit more accurate of an alignment to this thing. I was talking to Ollie and he said there were like 2 state-run radio stations that just kind of played you know, all hail the king, music for the king type stuff. So these radios may not have ever been aligned. They just might have been tuned by ear at the factory to kind of get the two stations that were on the air. You know, that would make sense. I don't know about the shortwave part, though. Maybe they had a couple shortwave stations and they didn't want the selectivity. They just wanted to have like a radio that was there just to play their own stuff and not get stuff from other countries. I don't know. So let's try, and that would sure make these radios very unique. Sort of intentionally detuned, like those one tube German radios. Frequency for how to use this thing. 455 kilohertz AM. Let's crank the modulation up here. And then let's start to bump this up, because this is powerful enough that it'll blast through everything. And I'm monitoring the input voltage. See, the other one goes to what, minus 17? Hey, maybe that other generator is damaged. I don't know. Try and get off this station. Try it right there. I got it pretty close. It just doesn't have any selectivity, and that very well could be intentional. That way you only can listen to what they want you to listen to. You can only listen to our strong local propaganda stations. So I went and grabbed the little one, and it's working. You can hear it. But they aren't exactly the same, because listen to the difference here. You'll hear the beat pattern between the two. They are really close. Because to stop it, I would need another digit. So this thing is really close. They are really close. So I'm going to say the IF is aligned right. I guess we could try and tweak the antenna tuner.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Bueno, vamos a dejar en espera.
Shelter.
Well, there's K Mozart. It actually gets it. Wow, it's starting to actually become a relevant radio. Okay, let's see here. Okay, that's the oscillator. Wow. Didn't even look like the antenna one is hooked up. Oh, must be that one. Yeah, the Q is just not very sharp in this radio. I mean, that's the volume wide open. It's almost like it really is, since I have two of them and they're pretty much the same. It's really like they're almost intentionally detuned. I guess I could check the capacitors. That would make the internet happy, but it certainly doesn't seem like it has the symptom of bad capacitors, except maybe the volume's a little low. But again, look at how wide KNX is. Watch this.
With financial stability and peace of mind in retirement.
The Aldecombe experience for spring and summer. I'm Melinda Lee. You might have to go there.
This is KNX right here.
It evokes joy. At Aldecombe, you'll find things you'll surely never see anywhere else. Custom-made trees of all sizes, flowers, plants, succulents, summer classics, outdoor furniture.
Oye, Chiquimula, hablando de noticias,
Aldecombe on support.
If you can run it about the
450 pounds.
about
This is 6 of the last 8 years they made it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. Only once have they actually been to the finals before this year in that run. And you look at a guy like Jason Tatum, first team All-NBA the last 3 years. What happened last year, Game 7?
It's just insane how wide it is.
Years and years and years, dating back to when he was in the EuroLeague.
But 1,000.
Natural gas. And it was as if USA can handle all your apoderados que así.
It's insane how wide.
한인 2세들 그 취업 굉장히 인터뷰를 보면서 한국말 하냐 못하냐를 가장 큰 면접의 기준을 본다고 하더라고요.
Okay, let's try shortwave. Why not? Absolutely nothing. It's absolutely dead, which is what I would expect. It's made for like the transmitter to be right next to you. I'm going to grab the signal generator. Let's see if it's actually working. You know, the other kind of benefit to the poor selectivity, if you only have a couple stations, you don't have to constantly be spot on with your tuning. You just sort of get it in the area like a TRF set. If the oscillator in the set drifts a little bit, you don't have to constantly retune it with temperature or battery fade or anything like that. It just, because it's selectivity is so poor, it just kind of, it's so broad, it doesn't matter. It just stays in that window. Okay, let's try, let's see, this goes 5 megahertz to 13 to 18 megahertz. Oh, that's real. So let's just do 10 megahertz. Okay, 10 megahertz on AM modulation. Let's see what we get here. Nothing. It is not working. Is not working. Okay, I messed with the band switch a little bit. So it's working. It's just as deaf as you would expect it to be. Okay, here's the other one. This is the one I have not tampered with the alignment. This one's quite a bit hotter on shortwave. This is back to the first one again that I aligned. Let's see if we can wake the shortwave up at all on this. Well, that's all the way open, so we need to tweak this one closed. Tweak that one closed and find it here. No, we're still off. Need to tweak it closed a little bit more. Nope. Tweak this one closed a little bit more. See, I can see here whether they're open or closed, and I can see it's open all the way. Nope. Still, see, I got this one open all the way for a peak, and I got this one closed all the way for a peak. So we need to adjust the oscillator coil. We need to slow it down a little bit. I might have gone the wrong way. Yeah, I went the wrong way. Come on, it's not the right tool. Okay, now the sensitivity is right off. So I could go a little bit more here and then move this a little bit more. See how it's getting louder? Probably go a little bit more here. It's waking up, man. I'm moving the leads of the generator away further. Now a little bit more. More. Wow. This. That's the intent. But I got it peaked up now. Kind of weird how the AGC's working. It's almost like it's got a gate in there. If the signal's not strong enough, it just squelches it out. That's kind of weird, but it certainly seems like that. It's not like you're hearing WWV in the background. No. Unimpressive. Let's try and play with aligning the shortwave on the other one. You know, they really seem like they have almost a squelch gate in them. And this one looks like someone's been in here trashing these cores. These cores are all rounded out, but unfortunately I can't see on that one where I'm at. See, when it loses the signal, both of them do this. When they lose a signal, you lose the background noise too, like there's a squelch gate. Like, unless the signal is a certain strength, it just, like, hear the background noise? Now listen when I turn the thing off. It just blanks out. I think these things are intentionally modified for government propaganda. Okay, it looks like I can really improve the AM on this one too by aligning the oscillator coil. And I know you're supposed to do this at the bottom of the band, but you know what? So what I'm going to do, since I have to have two hands, you just got to watch.
그러니까 이제 그때가 이제 가장 그 선택의 기로에 놓였던 시기인데 주변에서는 반대하죠. 그다음에 의사로서 안정된 삶도 보장돼 있고. 그래서 영국 런던대에 공부하러 갔지만
This is slave over Hi, this is violinist Joshua Bell.
Hello, this is guitarist Leona Boyd.
상이 있나 사사지 줄여봤고. 그 1960 안에서 무릎을 탁 치면서
Oh, I lost it.
Gracias.
Deseándoles un feliz fin de semana a todos los oyentes y que la alegría.
So I was able to take K Mozart from barely being able to hear it to this by adjusting the oscillator coil and the to find the peak.
Already download the app today.
Un ejemplo. Si digamos usted,
Can I make my site
Paul Tripp wrote the make my site firmer. El formulario lo está llenando rápido y pone 98.
That tightened it up too.
Que usted ahora ha emitido un castigo y si es que sale del país se va a quedar en esta casa.
And now during the final days of our Memorial Day scare, so that's quite an endorsement. And since you're mentoring somebody to...
Wow, did that make a difference?
여기에는 상당히
투유소.
Ya, señorita, ese muy bien.
Esto también. Can you take that off?
Can. The hot... Very bad face in town.
Delivery system.
He sees everything. They're coming all out.
A character in Animal House.
Wow, that really opened it up. Do I have to take back everything I said? Was it just never aligned? Oh, I should mention that another alignment point on these is to slide this coil on the bar antenna, but this one is waxed down. But that's another adjustment point, is you slide this at the bottom of the band, I believe, for peak. This is the L&Co AM/FM radio kit, and this is probably about the best radio kit, training kit you can buy. And so this comes with the magic wand tool, and they talk about how to use it here, which is this, and I'm going to assemble it. So one end is brass and the other end is ferrite. And so tune the radio to a station around 600 kilohertz with the magic wand. Place the brass in near the antenna coil as shown in figure 32, which is here. If the signal heard at the output increases, it means that the antenna coil needs less inductance. To remove inductance, carefully slide the antenna coil along its ferrite core in the direction shown in figure 32. So more inductance and less inductance. Place the iron into the magic cord near the antenna coil. If the signal heard at the output increases, it means the antenna needs more inductance. So basically, repeat these steps until the signal heard decreases at both ends of the magic wand. This would be so much easier out in the desert. You just slide the damn thing until it's the loudest. And then you adjust the trimmer on the tuning capacitor at the upper end of the band. For the oscillator adjustment, they just say to use that red core to set it so that it matches the dial, which it pretty closely does now. But that's how they say to set it. So basically you're going to use the red core to set that, and then you're going to move the antenna coils up and down the antenna to fine tune it. Well, I can't really do that because of the wax that I don't want to melt. Oh, carefully apply candle wax once you get it adjusted. I need to do a video on this, building this kit. This is probably the most comprehensive kit. If you ever wanted to really get to know how to do these type of radios, this is the kit. It's very comprehensive. The muting thing on shortwave is almost like a primitive form of censorship. Anyway, I think I got it about right. Here's the magic wand tool. That's the ferrite end, that's the brass end. You won't be able to hear it in the camera. It's very subtle, but it gets quiet with both. So I got the tuning right on. You know, instead of tuning this, we could have moved this. They sort of work together. Here's the little one, and the brass doesn't seem to be big enough. So I grabbed this. I need to cut this off and make a test rod out of this. Oh, so if it had got louder, if this had made it louder, then you would need to adjust it. If this had made it louder, This detunes it. This makes it less inductance. That makes it more, according to the book. But I think this is probably more relevant for tuning those little FM coils that are on the circuit board. You need something bigger for the AM bar antenna. And this is going to get a date with the lathe, I think. This is the other radio that I didn't do any alignment on, and you can hear that this one's off. Listen. So this makes it quieter. So it would need to be slid that way because this is detuning it. I'm going to make me one of these magic wands out of these two things. Oh hell yeah, I'm going to make me a big industrial one. Well, the selectivity is still atrocious. And I've aligned a lot of these things. I think I've got it about as good as I can get it. I've never screwed with those red oscillator coils, though, because usually they're aligned pretty good from the factory and you don't have to screw with them. But I don't know if this factory aligned anything or if somebody went screwdriver happy in this. I don't know. But I definitely improved it. It's not going to be a DXer. The shortwave is garbage. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a desert video in the future. We'll take the three of them. I don't really know how to align the IC one. I'll have to play with that. Maybe I'll have to read up on that IC and see if it explains how to align it. I thought those usually had a crystal filter, but maybe that one's too old. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit sloppy of a video, but look at three made in Iraq. Iraqi made 80s and 90s portable AM transistor and IC radios.